It is Friday, January 19th. We are on the eve of the next round of the NFL playoffs. We're going to be checking out our playoff pods here, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be making some pick'em sweats. Going to be drafting some teams. Let's get it. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a great day. Last time I checked, only 4 subscribers away from reaching a mini goal of the channel, 3,500. So, that'd be cool if we could hit that this stream. If you want to help me out and you are not subscribed, please do so. Also, if you are not in my Discord, link to join is below in the YouTube description. So, we got the pods yesterday. Thursday, as always, on Underdog. Some ask why that is. It's because they do stat corrections. It's just how they do it with their stat provider. We got 28 advancing teams. I didn't do a ton of playoff drafts, as many as I wanted, but we got some real gems in here. I think we'll click through, and for my live teams, we'll check it out. We'll check out what we're competing against. This team is rather live. It's a Detroit stack. Little trick for you on desktop that I learned about recently is if you click the grid button, it's going to show you. Fun. How fun is that? Is that correct? Let's see. No, it's not correct. Well, for regular best ball, I believe this worked. Oh, no, now it worked this time. Is that my team? Let's check here. I think what it shows you is maybe it just needed to load. Let's see. Knox, Kincaid, Laporta, Diggs, Smith, A.J. Brown. It's going to show you. I was looking at the guy next to me is what I was doing. So it shows you, and of course, this is not sharing with you guys for some reason. It shows you, it's just an easy way to sweat your pods. If we zoom out here, it shows you who's on what team here, right? So my team in this pod, we got a couple dead picks here, A.J. Brown and Smith, but then we got Diggs, Josh, Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta, Kincaid, Knox. So we're live for a Bills-Detroit Super Bowl, and it's just an easy way to see who's live in your pod, who's dead in your pod. So this guy here, he's got live Lions pieces. He's got a Buck piece. He's got Mark Andrews, who I still don't think is going to play this playoffs, but he might play next week if they win. And he is practicing. That should be noted. But not a live team, right? Stroud with no pass catchers. It's got some pieces, though. This team is a dead Dallas stack. Should be a lot of those in the pods, of course, due to Jake Ferguson's blow-up game. Lamb put up a fine game. Dak put up a fine game. Of course, my team. This guy's got a Josh Allen team with Ayuk, Kincaid, Mitchell, Gabe Davis, and Leonard Fournette was cut by the Bills. It was hard to say what the order of what's up there. I don't even know what this username is, but welcome. Leonard Fournette cut by the Bills just purely was a luxury they could not afford when they lost like 5 more defenders. Also, I popped the question, are the Bills evaluating Fournette to end the season, or were they ramping him up? And I think they were closer on the evaluation side. Quite frankly, Leonard Fournette does not pass protect better than Latavius Murray. He doesn't catch his ball, doesn't catch balls better than Ty Johnson, and he's not better at short area better than Ty Johnson. So doesn't do anything better than either of those players for what they are needed for. If something happened to James Cook, it's probably the Ty Johnson show mostly, and maybe Latavius would be signed back to the team. So yeah, we got a dead Dallas stack here. We got a dead quarterback team here. A Mahomes team with Rice dead for the Super Bowl. A Lamar CMC team. Wow. So this is no doubt a rare team, a team that, I mean, quite frankly, if the Bills make the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter, but still a cool feat. Lamar CMC, Kelsey, Flowers, Likely, OBJ, Godwin. So it's got quite a bit of players still playing. Only 2 dead players on the team. As far as a Super Bowl, though, it's only live with Lamar, Flowers, Likely, OBJ, and CMC. So it is a live CMC Ravens stack. This team here, Dallas versus dead Dallas. This is a Bill stack with Lions. This is just like a better version of my team, I would argue, because it has Amon-Ra. But I do have different pieces in it, right? I've got Montgomery and Laporta, and it has Amon-Ra and Jameson and Shakir versus Knox. And I also have Kincaid, and he doesn't have Kincaid. This team here is Bills, Detroit, Bills, Debo. Pretty dead team here. Chiefs. Yeah, it's just a Chiefs onslaught there. It's got, of course, going to be dead after Buffalo takes care of business. And a dead quarterback team here. So quite a bit of dead teams there. I don't know if we're going to click through every pod. My best team is this one here. The Bills 49ers onslaught. Someone has duped me in this. They've claimed on Twitter, at least. I've not seen their team. They claim on Twitter they've duped me, except they have Juwan Jennings instead of Nico Collins. So, like, I'm hoping I run into them and Nico knocks them out. I did not. And I'm hoping that Juwan Jennings is not needed, and at least I'm chopping with him, which would be a $125,000 chop. You add up first and second, divided by 2, assuming that we're the only 2 at the team. So my best team here is the CMC, Debo, Kittle, Diggs, Josh, Nico, James Cook, Kincaid, Gabe Davis, Shakir. It's got a full 10 players, and more importantly, it's got 9 players for the Super Bowl if you make it there. So who's it facing? Dead Dallas stack. This team is just not good. It just never built for a Super Bowl. Min-cash team. It's live for, it's got like 3 players in Bills 49ers. It could advance. It has some pieces. This team is Bills versus 49ers, but it only has Debo. So, of course, it's not as good as our onslaught team here. A Mahomes Detroit team. Minimum players, though. I don't think it has 5. Not a good team. This team's dead. This team is dead. I mean, it's got a Bills onslaught, so I'm hoping that a lot of my Bills onslaughts with like Philly pieces can at least make to the finals, assuming the Bills make the Super Bowl, of course. This team is a Lamar Detroit team. / Houston Detroit team. It's got 1, 2, 3 pieces of Detroit, allowing either Houston or the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. I think it's built nice to advance. And yeah, it's live for really only Ravens Lions Super Bowl. This team is a similar version of mine, just slightly worse. It is Bills, 49ers. It has Knox. I have, of course, Kincaid and Shakir, and Diggs. But he also has Pacheco playing. So, I mean, some chance that my team could get bounced, even though Bills 49ers are in the Super Bowl, if some fluky scoring happens. This team's dead. This team is dead. This team is Ravens, Bucks, I guess. Technically live for that with the minimum of 5. This team is a Bills, Bucks, Bills, 49ers, but only has Ayuk, which is the only way you could build later in it. And this team is Ravens versus, it's just a dead Ravens team. I mean, just talking about the playoffs, I don't think we're going to click through all of these. We'll click through one more pod. Why not? Find a good team. I wouldn't say that team's great. It's okay. That team I fell asleep auto drafting. This was the first team I drafted in the contest. So let's see what it ran into. It's nowhere near as good as, of course, the full Bills 49ers onslaught, or nearly full. And I don't know how the guy with Juwan Jennings advanced. Obviously, he probably drafted it like the day before me. You could really only build that team I built 1 week. So a couple days. And I was a little too lazy that week. Lesson learned. But this was the first team I drafted in the contest. It's live for Bills 49ers. And arguably probably wants Purdy to be optimal over Josh, just because it's its best path to victory, I think. So it's got Purdy and Ayuk, and then Bills onslaught here with 2 dead Dallas pieces. So probably built for too many Super Bowls as far as finals is concerned. But let's see who we ran into. Josh team. I mean, this was a bad build team anyways. It's like Bills Miami. This team is dead. This team is a Lions, Ravens onslaught with some Aaron Jones. So a decent team here. Dead. This team is dead. It's like, I don't know, it's got 4 players for Super Bowl. Bills versus 49ers with only Debo. Bills versus Packers. Probably its best chance. Chiefs versus Green Bay. It's a unique team. We don't see that built a lot. Dead. 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 Chiefs versus Detroit. Chiefs versus Bucks. But not very good. Dead. And this is dead as far as Super Bowl equity, because it built Bills Chiefs, which is again not a Super Bowl pairing that is live. Mythology, of course, bringing up both of the girlfriends of Travis Kelce, rumored to be fiance soon, I think. And Haley Steinfeld, who is an actress, and she is dating Josh Allen. And fun fact there, I guess the rumor is Josh Allen and his ex-girlfriend, who I think was his high school sweetheart, got in a huge fight the night before the Bills-Bengals playoff game because maybe Josh Allen cheated on her with a bartender. And so she was like throwing things around the house. This is all rumors. I don't know if this is true. But Deion Dawkins kind of alluded that there's a different Deion Dawkins, of course, the Bills left tackle, alluded that there's a different Josh showing up. Seems very happy. Seemed to be a dig at the ex-girlfriend. But again, I don't know if that's true. Anyways, now that we got our TMZ portion of the stream out of the way, who has such a wide width such as me there? Give you a little bit of TMZ, a little bit of chess, a little bit of best ball. We do it all around here. Mythology was there, guys. He was there. He knows. Cowboys Nation, that's rough. Texans beating the Ravens. I'm debating picking the Texans straight up. I think that, as far as the 49ers, just talking about a top-down view of the playoffs here, it would be a major disappointment for the 49ers not to make the Super Bowl. And I tweeted this out the other day, but the NFC, I've been saying this for a while now. The NFC is quite frankly a joke compared to the AFC as far as you just look at what quarterbacks play in the respective conferences. The AFC has around 8, 9, 10 straight up elite grown men quarterbacks. The NFC's best quarterback is probably Matthew Stafford. And, maybe he's in the top 10 list and he could retire at any given year. And who the second best quarterback in the NFC is your guess is as good as mine. I would accept answers such as Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray. I think Caleb Williams, once he's a Bear, will probably be, if not the best quarterback in the NFC, top 3. The AFC only got stronger this year. The AFC got Stroud where the NFC got Bryce Young. But just run through the list of the AFC quarterbacks. You got Josh Allen. You got Pat Mahomes. You got Joe Burrow. You got Justin Herbert. You got Lamar Jackson. You got Stroud. You got Lawrence. You got, who else am I missing here? You got Rodgers. He's probably Stafford-esque level if he's still there. We're at 8. Who else got bounced who's pretty good here? Trying to think through. I don't know. I'm missing some names here clearly, but point is the AFC is loaded and the NFC, something that the talking heads of the NFL like to float around is that, oh yeah, but the NFC has more complete teams, which I think we saw was just frankly a joke of a take. The 49ers have a super team in the NFC. No one else does, right? The Lions have an elite O-line, but their secondary's ass. The Bucks have good wideouts, but they don't have a great quarterback. They don't have a great defense. Yeah. Anthony Richardson, Tua, I would say, is in the discussion. Yeah, I'm a believer in Anthony Richardson developing into a legit quarterback. Hey, Will Levis could take a step. The NFC doesn't even really have these guys who are maybe they take a step, maybe Bryce Young takes a step, but takes a step towards the 16th best quarterback in the NFL, right? I don't think anyone is calling that Bryce Young is going to vault into the top 10 overnight. So it's pretty crazy, the disparity there. And yeah, do I think the 49ers Super Bowl team could steal a Super Bowl for the NFC here? Yes, I think that could happen, obviously. But I would blindly bet the NFC or the AFC for the next 5 to 10 years and likely profit, right? If there's any sports books out there that you can just bet next year's Super Bowl champion or even like parlay it a couple of years, you know that you're betting generally on the side of better quarterback play, which historically is just a better bet to take, especially in the modern NFL. So yeah, just talking through the games here, and then we'll make some pick'em slips and get some drafts out of the way. Texans at Ravens. Like, I really think that this game, is it possible the Ravens blow them out? Absolutely. That is on the cards, right? The Ravens are either the most complete team in the NFL by far, or, they're not as tested. Really, to no fault of their own, they haven't played any elite quarterbacks. They played CJ Stroud in his first game of the season, right? I'm not counting that. They played Joe Burrow when he was injured. I'm not counting that. They played Brock Purdy, kick their ass, but that game was closer than you think. And it's like, is Brock Purdy a top 10 quarterback? Probably not. They played Tua. Is Tua a top 10 quarterback? Probably not, right? So I would say this is their first test of playing now an elite quarterback, because they're playing Stroud, who I would put in the elite category pretty easily. They also have some defensive injuries here. So if the if the Texans are going to win this game, it's going to be off the back of CJ Stroud being special. And CJ Stroud played in his home dome last year. That's just a totally different environment versus on the road versus the Ravens in the elements. So I will say, though, that the Texans defense, like, they're beatable, but they're not terrible. They are able to, and Lamar will take some sacks. So I see this game being closer. Maybe the Ravens pull away late, but it really will not surprise me if the Texans can find the upset. I do think the Ravens winning is best for, as far as like storylines in the NFL go, right? I think most people want to see Ravens versus Bills, Ravens versus Chiefs. And I think everyone, including Texans fans, are okay saying, look how amazing the Texans are, but watch out for them next year when they get another draft class under them with all these resources. Packers at 49ers. This is a game I really don't see the 49ers losing. If the Packers do beat the 49ers, I don't think it's the same way in which the Texans beat the Ravens. This would be them, frankly, having to establish the run, which you can run on the 49ers, especially as of late, and that working, right? And then hitting play action and probably getting some turnovers. The Packers defense is weird. They were terrible. They were literally sellers at the trade deadline of a couple good players. And then they got some D linemen back, and they got, Alexander's playing well again, although he didn't practice. So I don't know. Could the 49ers lose this game? Yes. But I think of the two big underdogs, the Texans are a lot more likely. Lions, I frankly don't see them losing this game. They should be able to just establish the run and pass all over the Bucks. Bucks defense is okay. If the Bucks do beat the Lions, though, it's going to have to be a special Baker Mayfield game. And I do think, the only hope of the 49ers getting bounced in the playoffs is probably having to face the Lions and the Lions O-line being grown-ass men and just dominating that game, which is possible, but, someone brings up the weather. Let's take a look at that. We, of course, took a look earlier in the week, but that was meaningless. Now we're a day or two away from the games. Houston and Baltimore, cold and breezy, temp in the upper 20s with a 15-mile-per-hour sustained wind. This is courtesy of Kevin Roth, a meteorologist with Roto-Grinders. Gusting around 30 miles per hour. Not going to impact every play, but it's not ideal. San Fran, just a little rain. Detroit is a dome. The Bills game has fans lining up outside the door. If I was in the area, I would be shoveling that stadium just because it would be a fun experience. Cold with a bit of breeze. The temp should be around 20 degrees with a 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained wind, gusting around 20 miles per hour. That puts the feels like temp below zero. Yeah, so he hasn't changed much here. And both these quarterbacks can manage the wind here. Bills at Chiefs, if none of the defensive injuries happened, I would be feeling really good about the Bills. Unlike many who counted the Chiefs as just like a bad team, I never did. I knew that, I mean, they were close to beating the Bills the first time. Of course, that was at home. Um, I do think the Bills are a better team. Um, and they just have a lot of better. They have a lot more better weapons. They're a lot more proven of a team. The Bills are 5-1 against playoff opponents. I want to say the Chiefs are like 1 and like the only playoff opponent. I don't know. They're like 1-3 or something like that. They played the Dolphins. They played the Eagles. They played the Bills, of course. They didn't get to play that many playoff opponents, unlike Buffalo, who's just like one of the most proven teams as far as beating good teams we've seen in a while, just due to having a harder schedule. Um, I think the Bills' offense might need to be special this game, and they'll probably play some brand of keep away where, quite frankly, they can churn out first down after first down off of the legs of James Cook, off of Josh Allen hitting passes. And the big question for the Chiefs is, are their pass catchers going to show up? Because if their pass catchers have a bad game, which quite frankly, the Chiefs on the road um, have not been a great team on offense, right? And it's big that they're having to play this road game, right? Like what that really does is it kind of forces you to use a silent count a lot of the time. Um, and so when you have these pass catchers who already have been letting Mahomes down, and now they got to use a silent count, that just kind of adds a bunch of complications. And so if the Chiefs pass catchers have a disaster game, they're going to lose quite easily. If um if they can have a great game, they could win, of course, especially if the Bills defense is decimated and a bunch of their guys do not play. But I think the Bills will try to churn out first down after first down, get some stops, probably put up around 30 points, even against this good team, um, and try to get the win there. But of course, this is the closest game on paper. And quite frankly, this is often, to me, one of the best games that we as fans can hope for. Um, it's just the two best quarterbacks in the NFL, no matter how you slice it, in my opinion. And so I don't think we're going to get that crazy shootout game that we got a couple years ago, which was the best playoff game of all time, probably. I don't think we'll get that again, especially with them. The Chiefs having a much better defense than they did that year. But it's possible. So, yeah. I got Bills versus Ravens, 49ers versus Lions, which is the chalk. But yeah, the Texans game, I'm looking forward to that game. I don't think they're going to get blown out. The Bills D is hurt, but they're getting some guys back. They've ruled out a linebacker. They've ruled out one of their corners, but their other corner is going to play. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what adaptations McDermott can make there. And again, like I think the Bills will realize that they're not going to try to put this game in the hands of the defense at all. And it is very possible that if a team just gets like blown out this game, that would be the Chiefs. If, like if Travis Kelce is dropping balls like he did, which was a way different weather climate, that was literally feels like -30. Like if he's having that type of game, they're done. Because yes, Mahomes is going to run, but he's not quite as dominant as a Josh Allen on the ground. Let's get some pick'em slips now that we've gone through the games a little bit here. And we'll just do a scorcher. Try to turn $10 into 1,000. Mythology going to need some help with who this is. I was looking at my live pick'ems 5 times. All right, let's look it up. Let's look it up for the horn dogs out there. Alex C. Felt husband. Is this like a special teams guy? Oh, this is Dawson Knox's girlfriend, I guess. Or mythology. Is this girlfriend or is this husband? They are engaged. So have at that, internet friends. Throw the name on Instagram. Yeah, I think the officials is blown over. And whatever. Like people are touting that the Chiefs are win 80% of their games with this crew, which is not the best crew of refs in my opinion. But okay, historically they win 78% of their games. Okay. So, we're going to try to build a scorcher slip here. So I think we take the Nico Collins touchdown. Giving us a scorcher on that feels nice. Let's also take the Odell one. It's my vibe. I think this is the prevailing vibe. It just seems like a logical vibe. They've been saving OBJ for the playoffs. If Houston can be beat, it's typically in the secondary. Getting a 2x on that feels nice. Let's move on to another game. We don't want too many pieces from one game. The scorcher on Aaron Jones is tempting. I don't see Green Bay being unable to move the ball at all. Kind of surprising that we're getting 2.5 touchdowns for Love Scorcher, but 1.5 for, in my opinion, the better quarterback in Stroud. But, the book's out on Love, how good he is. CMC to catch a pass is a scorch. Jaden Reed touchdown is a scorch. And he's been banged up. I don't quite know what his health is. Let's skip this game now for now, though. If I'm taking one there, I'm taking Aaron Jones because he can just get there a lot of ways. Rashad White touchdown, attempting one. Godwin, tempting. Josh Reynolds touchdown, 2x. That's definitely tempting. This game isn't a dome, so we know there's going to be scoring. Like, I like the Reynolds. I like the Otten. Let's add some Bills pieces and Chiefs pieces and then come back. Okay, James Cook to getting a scorch on James Cook touchdown feels nice because this could be a 50-yard pass. This could be a run. He should be getting a lot of workload. Let's get the 2x scorch on Kincaid as well. 2x on Shakir as well. Like one of Kincaid or Shakir is like overwhelmingly likely to score a touchdown in my opinion. Let's throw. See, we're over 100x. Again, that's the cap. So instead of doing that, let's just throw in like Reynolds yards. That still gets us there. And we do need the scorch on Kincaid. So we'll go with Kincaid. If you want to do Shakir, that seems fine to me too. But it's a $10 bet to try to turn into 1,000. If you would like to tail, I've put it here. Mythology saying don't forget Knox. If you would like to bet on the girlfriend that he likes. But we got the Nico touchdown, the Obi Day touchdown, Cook touchdown, Reynolds yards, Kincaid touchdown. Let's get some couple drafts in here in the Gauntlet returns and get out of here. I've only done 2 of these. Been doing a lot of chess. Going to be playing tomorrow before the game as well. I've been doing a lot of chess for just to get ready for my chess tournament upcoming. So, going to be playing a tournament in the morning. Yeah, I mean, Best Ballin says the problem is the Bills average 100 yards and penalties per game with that crew. I mean, look, that can be touted, and a couple of things can be true. Maybe, and it's frustrating that crews don't generally ref the same, but maybe that crew, where we saw like the Lions game, the Lions Rams game was ref like a 2005 playoff game, which was, they let a lot of physicality go. Some crews do not. It's also possible the Bills were just not disciplined in a couple games that happened to be with that crew, right? So like you can't just like take stuff like that like Warren Sharp puts out there or whoever. He's big on this because people are generally skeptical about refs, so it's easy to get clicks on it. But you can't just take stuff like that as gospel. No, I go to chess tournaments, so you can just Google it. The United States Chess Federation. How nice is this room, guys? Giving us a Josh Allen here. If not, we would have just autoed, entered a new one. No, I'm kidding. But shout out this room. No, I play a lot of chess games online. I don't know. Probably 5,000 games a year. Which is like junk food if you're playing blitz chess. But I've been actively working on my chess, which means doing puzzles and such. And I'm going to be playing tournaments because there's a my favorite tournament every year is I go back to New York with my chess crew and we play a team tournament. And it's really nice because um, chess is historically a one-on-one game. There's no team element to it, right? Yeah, let's just take Ayuk and see who comes back to us. So being able to get that camaraderie element is pretty big. People who know me know that I'm also the guy who like gives a speech to the team before the games. I used to do this with my kids, so of course I do it with grown adults. Um, they like it, but the team tournament's really fun because you get a team of 4 versus another team of 4, and you play like that. It's a really great question, Mythology. If Kincaid was a chess piece, what's the piece? I would say he's the pawn. Why is he the pawn, Mythology? Because pawns are the soul of chess, Philidor said. And of course, what can pawns do that no other piece can do? Well, A, they can't go backwards. They don't go backwards, just like Kincaid. He's developing, he's getting better, his A dot's going up, he's getting better. Also, what can pawns do? They can transform. They can turn into queens. They can turn into rooks. So that's my answer for you. Pretty good answer off the top of my head. How close to Bobby Fischer are you? You mean as a friend? All right, so we have to think here. Is this guy likely to take James Cook? No. Is this guy likely to take James Cook? Yes. So that's going to side me James Cook over Diggs. Why? You need a running back in the Super Bowl, and I don't want to have it be Elijah Mitchell. And with this guy taking both Lions running backs, he needs a running back, and he could play Bills here, which would be annoying. We didn't have to worry about this guy, right? But we did have to worry about homeboy going Cook and whoever. Cook and Laporta. But now he can go Diggs, whatever, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl running back if he goes Diggs. Bobby Fischer, man, was one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest. He, unfortunately, so now he's doing, I don't know, he's spreading his eggs pretty thin. And he didn't have to go Diggs there, right? Like we would get Diggs back a lot more common than we would get Cook back, in my opinion. Okay. So I think we just take Kincaid. No reason to fool around. Spread us thin. I'm not close in ability to Bobby Fischer. Quite frankly, Bobby Fischer obsessed over chess with his life. Have I worked that hard on my chess? No. I've not worked that hard on my chess. I didn't have a coach growing up playing chess, right? Like I did not work hard on chess. Really, I came back to chess later in life. I'm an adult improver. If I put everything I could into chess, I would certainly not get to Bobby Fischer's level. I could maybe get I could undoubtedly become a chess master. Could I become a grandmaster? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. That's really hard to say. Um, because generally only people who start when they're really young reach that title due to the amount of time it takes. And but I have the free time element, right? Like could I afford to do 40 hours a week into chess? Yes, I could. Would I want to? Probably not. Don't know why that guy's playing Stroud, but it's fine. Of course, there's no buys. Let's just take Shakir, keep it going here. We will, of course, start playing another team. We can't just take 5 more Bills Niners. But this guy, I don't want him to take Shakir. And this at least gives me a serviceable enough Super Bowl. We're leveraging off the fact we don't have Diggs as well. Yeah, guys, if you aren't subscribed, help me out. I was only 4 away from 3,500. Maybe I hit it. Maybe I didn't. I will be playing Bills Niners as often as I can for the Super Bowl. Now, do I want to play Mitchell? I guess. Fuck it. Like, what are we gonna do? The Bucks. Like, it's so hard seeing any other NFC team making the Super Bowl. The harder part is the Bills. Like, no one has a tougher path than the Chiefs or the Bills to make the Super Bowl because they got to beat each other, and then they got to beat the Ravens likely, and then they got to beat the Niners. You look at the Ravens' path, it's Houston, tough, but not the same. And then one of Bills, Chiefs, they don't get the extra game. So just easier. The Niners' path is like a joke. But they could disappoint. We've already seen dumb coaching cost the Rams, right? And Shanahan is known to coach a little bit more like that. All right, I said we're not going to do this, but fuck it, we are. We're just going to try to build this Bills 49ers super stack and see what happens. Let's see what he's got here. He's got a Bucks versus Ravens Super Bowl with a CMC NFC conference loss to the Bucks. Thin. Really? Like, why is this guy taking Ty Johnson there? Whatever, brother. That will make me probably take another NFC player. It's kind of nice for me to get some Juwan Jennings sweats. We're going to take Knox because Knox is playing this weekend and Davis is not. So my assumption is Davis would make it back by Super Bowl at least. And maybe next week. He's an enigma of a player. But he's a very good blocker. So the Bills value that. And there are a couple games where he's been like a high target share guy. But then, of course, he has many, many games where he does nothing. Doing WSOP this year? I don't think so. I'm going to Ireland this summer. And it's just hard to take off as much time as I did in the thick of best ball season. I don't think that's the best for me to be doing. So probably not. Maybe I make it out for an event or two though. But yeah, gonna launch a site here where I aim to be writing and keeping ranks up to date. So I just can't spend 2 months in Vegas. Quite frankly, I hate Vegas as like a place to hang. I'm not someone who like goes to strip clubs or Hooters or whatever clubs. Ronnie Bell, the 6-catch 3 TD man. Brother, you're making me tempted, but we're gonna take a random bill here. I just want to see who this guy take. Who do you take? He went Trent Sherfield. Tricks on you, fool. Deontay Hardy, of course, is going to be catching the Super Bowl touchdown / Super Bowl punt return. So we got a Bills Niners onslaught with almost certainly 2 players that are never stacked together / like I might have the only Deontay Hardy shares. So we got Josh, Ayuk, Cook, Kincaid, Shakir, Mitchell, Juwan Jennings, who I hope does nothing because that's bad for my other team. Knox, Murray, Deontay Hardy. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Again, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like and subscribe. I will be back next week, hopefully with a Bills win. I'm excited for these playoff games. Going to get my chess tournament done. Going to come back, watch these games. For me, for my cat on the cat tower, have a great day and enjoy the playoffs this weekend. Peace.